You know the saying, better late than never? That, if it wasn't for the fact that I have this series named, I would probably call this video that. Because it has been 2 weeks since I've posted a video, and the reason why has been documented as well. Um, I got sick. So, March 4th, I went and saw a movie, first time in 9 years, and probably won't be 9 years until I go see another one, apparently. Next day, so I went March 4th, went and saw, and if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's awesome. The new Led Zeppelin documentary. It's called Becoming Led Zeppelin. It's 2 hours long. All four members of the band are in it. You're saying, how could that be possible? John Bonham's been dead for 45 years. Well, they uncovered a lost audio interview with John Bonham. So you get to hear him, not see him. But the other three are on camera. They talk about their upbringing, talk about finding, American music and their early, times learning how to play instruments and, just meeting each other, forming the band, recording the first record, doing a tour, then recording the second record, doing that tour, that sort of thing. And it ends after the second record. That's where they leave you in the movie. But if it's not obvious by me doing this series, I am a history buff. So that explains why I felt the need to go see a Led Zeppelin documentary. If you don't believe I'm a history buff, ask Skullman Belt, and ask Antonio Mendoza what happens when you bring up the Kennedy assassination. You will get an 8-minute long message from me. 8-minute long audio message detailing what info I have on the Kennedy assassination. But next day after I watched that movie, woke up with a slight cough. Nothing I was really worried about. It's allergy season, kinda. It's getting into spring. And the next day, that cough was accompanied by a sore throat and congestion, and it hit me that I was getting sick, and I was right. So 2 weeks later, after I'm done hacking and coughing, everything's back to normal. We're back. So this is episode 13 on the Crumb Rind. So obviously you can see this sitting not off camera, but off to the side here. The Big Gold, the book on the Big Gold. That's going to be, number one, a lifesaver, because I don't have to put as many photos in this video. It's going to save me a lot of time editing. And number two, it's just good to have as a reference point. So the Big Gold, made by Crumb Rind Jewelers, the plates were in Reno, Nevada. The original silversmith that worked on it was Victor Ortiz. The leather was done by Ralph Harris Leather in State Road, North Carolina. And it was, from what I can tell, it was debuted at Battle of the Belts on Valentine's Day, 1986. It didn't get debuted on Crockett's television until a little over a week later, on the 22nd, on February 22nd of 86, when Ric Flair brought it out, with the blue cloth and all that. So that's when it was debuted. It's dual plated, obviously, but we're going to talk about the design of this belt that did not ever make it, and that is the concept version. And that, if my fingers will function, I will show you. On page 35. This is what we know as the NWA concept belt. And you could tell the genesis of what would be the belt that we have today is there. But a few tweaks. Obviously, the floral pattern is very different. The grapplers are kind of upside down from how they would turn out to be, but the big bone of contention was the NWA being removed. And it says here in the book, NWA removed. Let me back out for you. There we go. The removal of NWA designation from the design of the belt is an interesting subject because of the subtle implications for Crockett's business and the industry at the time. As discussed earlier, Jim Crockett Promotions was in the midst of an aggressive national expansion, although clearly assuming the NWA name as their primary national brand at that time. The instructions for Crumb Rind to have NWA removed from the belt design indicated Crockett was thinking well beyond 1986. So basically, what I can gather without reading everything, um, he felt like he would be the last company standing. I think he always knew, talking about David, and when he says Crockett, he's talking about his brother, Jimmy Crockett. I think he always knew, was the he that's implied is Jimmy Crockett Jr. Always knew he would be the one company left standing against the WWF, David says. So that's a quote from David Crockett talking about Jimmy Crockett. So that's why that belt never made it, was at the behest of Jimmy Crockett Jr. saying, don't put the NWA on there because I don't want to be tied to that. In case we are ever the lone promotion, we won't have NWA on our belt. So the cast pieces, page 94. We're going to get into the nuts and bolts of this here pretty quick. So your cast pieces that are on the belt, that are relief pieces that are attached to the belt, are your crown, your globe, your grapplers, all 4 of them, and all 16 conchos. There are 8 on the main plate, 4 on each side plate. And the snaps are made of stainless steel. And a few pages later, on page 97, snaps. There are 8 sets of stainless steel snaps. We would call it 2x8, right? There's 2 sets of snaps, and each of them are 8. You know what I mean? There's 8 snaps on each side. There's 2 rows on each side. 16 snaps total. Both the original Harris Brown leather strap and the replacement AFX black leather strap. So the one that Hogan has in his beach shop is the AFX one that they used on TV. He kept it after Bash of the Beach 2000. But yeah, they are stainless steel snaps. 16 of them per belt. 8 male snaps, 8 female snaps. So, let's see here. The stitching. So it says here on page 51, page 58, and page 100 the exact same thing. That stitched the leather using a gray pure flax thread on a Sutton Adler sewing machine. So that's what it says on 58, page 51. I'm sorry, that was page 51. Now we're going to page 58, where they show a picture of the flax, where you can see it says gray on it, the flax sinew. I can never pronounce that, but it's the stitching. So it is gray there, and then also on page 100, it says gray color stitching around the perimeter of the strap. So there's three points where they say that it was gray color stitching around the perimeter of the strap. So there's a bit of a discrepancy if this belt was originally made of sterling silver. I've heard people say it isn't. The book says it is. It says it twice, and I'll show you where. So page 108. We're talking about the bend at the top of the main plate. It says at some point the belt was either dropped or thrown against something hard enough to bend the thick sterling silver plate. So that's the second spot in the book where they claim it is made of sterling silver. And the other part is very early in the book, in page 41. There we go. Page 41. The biggest 2 challenges facing Crumrine on the project were 1, finding a piece of silver large enough to make the main buckle, and 2, figuring out a way to work with a piece of silver that large. So there are 2 points in the book where they state that the plates are made of silver. The AFX cast copy, by contrast, I'll get into that just briefly because they are, on the cast copy, they are molds, were cast from these molds in bronze and then plated in 24 karat gold. So the AFX all gold copies were made of bronze, not silver, and they were casted 24 plated gold. 24 karat gold. I'm sorry, not 24 plated. 24 karat gold. There's one other thing. So when I filmed a video here, I think we're coming up on, I know it's been over a year, where I showed off the strap that Max McGall's made me for my shop ride. I had one guy in my comment section say, well, too bad the big gold was never on a brown strap. I don't know if the guy's colorblind or what, but you can clearly see it's a brown strap. I don't know what he's seeing that we're not, but I mean that color looks brown to me. But not only can I show you in pictures, I can also show you where they say it in the book. So I just have to find it in my notes here. Let's see, snaps are made. I think it's page. Hang on a second. Let me pause because I'm pretty sure it's page 100. Yeah, it was page 100. Yeah, because what he said. Well, I'll put his comment up if I haven't already, where he says that it's too bad it wasn't on a brown strap, and then he takes a little victory lap because I quit replying to him, thinking that he won the exchange. Well, he quit replying, so he must have realized he was wrong. No, I just don't argue with people that are wrong. That's wasting my time. If I want to argue with an idiot that's wrong about everything, I go visit my sister. So, the original leather strap made by Harris Leather in North Carolina was made of a Cordovan brown leather called cherry wood, cut in a tight pattern around the shape of the main plate. There was no tooling on the original brown strap. The brown leather was replaced by new black leather in September of 1999 by AFX Studios in Georgia. And that's where we get to Andre. No, not Andre the Giant. And not Andre 3000 from Outkast. Not him either. We're talking about Andre Freitas, or Freitas. You pick. He was, in 1999, asked to make 2 cast copies of the big gold belt. While in the process of doing so, replaced the leather on the original. The company wanted black leather to better match their other belts. So he did that. He's the one that also would cast the plates, obviously, right? It says the strap swap was made sometime in the second week of 1999. Hogan wore the original 86 leather was last seen when Hogan wore it on WCW Nitro for Miami, September 6, 1999. By that following Sunday, must have been a pay-per-view, September 12th. Yeah, it was Fall Brawl. Okay, the plates were on a new AFX black leather when Hogan lost the World Championship to Sting at Fall Brawl in Winston-Salem. So it was 99 when the strap was swapped out, and then later in the original belt went missing, and it was the new plates that were introduced in early 2001. Now, he casted the belt. During this time with WCW, he was asked by Eric Bischoff to make 2 cast copies of the belt. He initially made 3. While only being paid for 2, he wanted to have 1 on hand at the studio in case WCW ever needed quick repair work on one of their cast copies. He could rotate that belt out in its place. So, one of the cast copies replaced the original Crumb Rind in January of 2001 when it disappeared in December of 2000 after Starrcade. So the original Crumb Rind disappeared in December of 2001. The cast copy comes in January of 2001. Now, he was just going to make the 3, but he also decided to offer, for extra money, any of the world champion people that have been world champion to get their own big gold cast copy made. And so it says only Kevin Nash and Diamond Dallas Page took him up on his offer. So he actually ended up making 5. And of those 5, we know where each one is. The office copy is the one at Hogan's Beach Shop in the possession of Hulk Hogan, who left with it when he left WCW in July 2000. Number 2 is owned by the WWE. When they purchased WCW in 2000, they just kept the belt. That's the one that in 2005 they did a photo shoot with Batista, where you see him wearing it. Copy number 3 is owned by AFX Studios. That's the one that you see Andre posing with in the photo. So he obviously kept one for himself. And then the 2 that were made for Kevin Nash and Diamond Dallas Page, Kevin Nash has sold his or gifted his to Dave Milliken. And Diamond Dallas Page still has his. It's hanging in his house. I've seen it. I think he's doing workouts with Cody Rhodes and doing workouts with Lex Luger now. You can see it hanging up in a case on the wall. So that is pretty much all I got on the Dome Globe in terms of specs. I will make a couple announcements. This belt is still for sale. If you'd like to buy it, this is my Fandu Dual Plated Lux, restoned by yours truly, Paul Martin leather send-out strap, and a send-out strap, so the screws are exposed on the back just like the original, but the backing is black instead of the 2 pieces of veg tan leather on the original, where it's brown on both front and back. But the other thing is, this thing is actually autographed, if I don't drop it, is autographed by Booger T. So I got that signed Comic-Con 2022. I was asking $700, but I just really want to get it out of here. I want someone else to enjoy it. I've already got the shop right downstairs. So I've dropped my price to $625, $625 shipped within the U.S. If you're wanting to pick it up out of the or have it shipped out of the country, you're going to pay the shipping difference. It's probably I shipped a belt to Ireland. My Winged Eagle made by F Club VK, and that was $75 more. So it was an extra $75, total $100 to ship. But I account for $25 shipping in my asking price. So you only pay $75 extra if that's what it comes to. So like I said, this belt is for sale. I have 5 belts in the works. I have one of my replicas getting re-leathered. I've sent that one out. I have 2 belts that are being made and being put on American leather. Those 2, he's got the plates for one. I think the plates just got finished for the second one. I saw some updated photos. I think they're my plates. I've got a belt being made now from a Pakistani maker. And then I've also got a belt used that I just picked up because apparently I got a hole in my pocket big enough you could park a truck in. So I have 5 belts coming, is what I'm saying. So stay tuned for that. I am going to give a shout out because he always says, tell 5 friends about us. Well, you know what? I have 876 subscribers at the time of filming this, so I'm going to tell 876 people. Well, potentially 876 people. Depends on how many watch this. There's a new belt group. I am an admin on that page. It is Skullman Belts. Look for us on Facebook. It's ran by Skullman over on Skullman Belts channel. He made me a moderator initially and then decided to make me an admin. And we kind of work in unison and feel the same way about a lot of things. And basically, if you're a shit stirrer, you want to start drama, we're going to kick your ass out. That's the first thing. Second thing, and you might get a warning depending on how egregious it is. Second thing is, feel free to post your belts. Nobody's going to judge you for your belts, no matter what the maker is. And then we do a buy and sell, like a lot of pages do, once a week, if not twice a week. I know we do it on Fridays, but there may be another day in the week where we do it, but I could be wrong about that. I'm just going off memory. But right now, we're closing in on 300 members. Like I said, TJ runs, a pretty good page. I'm trying to say it in a way that sounds professional, not a way that sounds like a kindergartner saying it, but it's a nice page. It's drama free. It's for people that just enjoy belts, and we just have a good time over there, and there's no issues. So if you're wanting to check us out, Skullman Belts on Facebook. As far as upcoming belt videos, besides the 5 belts that I got coming in, the next Belt Chronicles episode 14, will be the WCW 5-plate US. I'll see you guys next week.